All right, should we start?
Yeah.
Oh man. So back with another episode of the Bogetti Bunch on Bogetti Studios podcast. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, even though I just started. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. We have a lot of fun doing this. Me and Bronte get to air our grievances for the week. We actually don't talk to each other any other point of the week besides this. So every other week we talk to each other about 50 minutes, and then the rest of the time she ignores me and just hangs out with the dogs.
Yep.
I watch crime dramas on TV. Basically our day to day.
No, you spend your days writing Facebook posts, ignoring me.
Well, listen, I have a large Facebook community. If I can talk to 68,000 people at once or talk to one, well, you know, my hand is forced.
I see your point. You'd rather talk to more people than your wife.
No, it's more, you know, I have only so much attention and they kind of deserve it more.
Oh, like I only give you so much attention?
No, I only have so much attention to give.
Oh.
So if I can give to 68,000 people at once versus one person, ROI is better.
Reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Like, if you talk to like a business advisor, they would tell you to do the same thing. Ignore your wife. Spend all your time on Facebook.
If you went to a marriage counselor, that's what they'd say.
No, business advisor. Marriage counselor, I don't know. Those guys suck. Aren't they usually like single men that aren't married?
I don't really know background. I've never been to marriage counseling. I've been to therapy, but I don't really know much about like my therapist.
That's my worry with marriage counseling is they want you to come back next week. They don't want to fix your marriage. They want to just keep getting paid.
True, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and my brother's the divorce attorney right up the street. It's like, oh, this is just a racket.
Perfect. You just go to marriage counseling right over to the divorce office.
I'm just getting scammed. Yeah.
You know what's funny though, thinking about that? When you go to therapy, you talk about everything to the therapist. They know like everything about you.
Yeah.
But you know nothing about them.
You can ask them about them.
Yeah, you definitely can. But that thought of just like someone knowing so much about you, but you know like nothing about them is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Like with friends, it's kind of equal. You know, you both know a little stuff about each other, but with a therapist, it's like.
Yeah, what's that movie? I don't think it's Good Will Hunting, where he like walks into the therapist and he like looks at all the books on the shelf and he like breaks it down. He's like, goes to the therapist. He's like, I can tell by where your ring used to be, you're recently divorced. I can tell this by the book that you read. And
what?
He just kind of like roasts the therapist, and the therapist actually ended up committing suicide after. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's a good movie though. It's a good movie.
Yeah, you kind of lost me there on that.
It's a good movie. It's I don't know. Is it Good Will Hunting? It might be.
I don't know.
I hate this. I hate when I can't think of something.
Can you take off those glasses? They're kind of bothering me because I can't like see your eyes. It's like glaring.
No, they're safety glasses. And when we podcast together, I feel I need a little more safety because you never know what's going to happen. Exactly. This world is dangerous. So I wear safety glasses.
Can you take them off?
Okay.
Thank you. See, now I can see your beautiful blue eyes that I hope our son has.
They were pretty dirty anyway.
Yeah. I couldn't see you.
That's been a big debate. What is our son going to have? Blue eyes like me?
Or brown
that
eyes?
Are failing on him?
Like his mama.
Yeah.
Well, brown is usually the dominant gene, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Blue is recessive.
Yeah. So like brown's more common, I guess. I don't know. I haven't done much research into this, but Cooper's whole family is blue eyes.
Yeah, there's 6 of us that all have blue eyes.
My whole family is brown eyes. My mom, dad, brown eyes, sister. So it's like a 50-50 shot, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But then
we need like one of those charts. Like, you ever do that as a kid in like middle school science, where they're like,
yes,
it's like a stupid chart.
But I think it has to do like if my mom or my dad had blue eyes, then it would be, if one of them had blue eyes, it would be more common. Because that's with James and Amber. Like Amber's whatever.
But they have 3 kids with blue eyes.
But Amber has blue eyes and Amber has brown eyes, James has blue eyes.
Yeah.
But it's something on their family side that has blue eyes that, I don't know. But I think because he might have brown eyes.
He might, which I have no problem with. I mean, Blue eyes, honestly, they're not that good. You don't, like, there's things, like, you don't see as well at night with blue eyes. They're more,
really?
like, you can get more damage from the sun with blue eyes. They're known for going bad sooner, like, getting worse.
Oh.
So, like, it's not really, like...
I have good eyes and good eyesight, like...
Yeah.
I
have to wear sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't have to, right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, they're not as efficient.
But your whole family has such pretty blue eyes, like, bright blue eyes. I like blue eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if he comes out, like, really cool, like, albino?
Is albino eyes a thing? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think there is a thing where you can tell by the eyes.
Oh, my God. My eyes are burning. I'm laughing before. Sorry.
Sorry, we're filming funny TikToks. If you're not following us on TikTok, you should.
Yeah. Because... Oh, also, before I wanted to put this in the beginning, that for the next few episodes moving forward, we'd like to do a little segment at the end where we answer some of your guys' questions.
Yeah, we would like to add, or Bronte would also very much so like to add a little Q&A segment.
Yeah, it would be, I think just like something to wrap up at the end where we answer 5 questions. So, I mean, it could be anything. It could be...
Put them in the comments if you're listening on Spotify.
Car related.
I don't know what to tell you.
Anything for me, anything for both of us. Advice if you need. That could be fun. Like us giving advice to people or just whatever. If anyone has any questions,
I'll give you some things. I'll give you political advice. I'll give you dating advice. I'll give you automotive advice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask me for business advice, but I'll give it to you. And I'll give you unsolicited advice, which is the worst kind. When somebody gives you advice when you're not asking and they're very pushy about it.
Yeah.
Basically just get married.
Well, if you want any advice from Coop, leave a question in the comment. And
those are my skills.
Okay, well, let's get into our topics this week because I think we need to talk about the first one, which is your scandal that you got into this past week.
Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. So
I'm going to try and play the devil's advocate here a little bit because, and I really want to emphasize this, that everything you post is in a joking manner.
Not always.
But 99% of the time,
there's a lot of comedy.
Real.
There's a lot of
real. You want to be a comedian, like a lot of the things you post.
What do you mean? I am pretty funny.
No, I know you are. You're very funny.
But like, what would you consider a comedian though? Because I make people laugh all the time.
Yeah, you're somewhat a comedian.
I'm a satirical poster.
An online comedian. I don't know.
There you go.
That's my train of thought. This keeps happening to me. There was something I was going to say.
We were going to talk about my scandal, if you will.
Yeah.
People attempted to cancel me.
This is what I was going to say, is that everything that Cooper does, like, it's with good, fun intentions. Like, he's never out to hurt someone, so...
No, nor do I ever want to see anybody get hurt.
Yeah, so please, like, with the things that he posts sometimes, just keep that in mind. Okay, go.
So... The other day, I was just scrolling on the old interwebs on Facebook, and somebody posted, like, this whole thing about, like, grass clippings and motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And I reshared it because I've seen this many a times. Mm-hmm. It's this whole, like, don't put your grass clippings into the street because you're going to kill a motorcyclist and his whole family's going to be without a dad because of you. Like, people, like, use this crazy guilt trip, like... You're going to ruin the economy by doing... Like, they just have crazy line of thinking. Like an
extreme a little bit.
Yeah, where they're like...
I understand it's
think
dangerous,
about Christmas with his family, like, and the motorcycle. Like, they're just crazy like that. And my opinion is, yes, you should never put anything in the street. Mm-hmm. No grass clippings. I've ran over a ladder before. I've ran over tires in the street.
Nails, like glass.
I'm pretty sure there was maybe, like, you know... an animal or two in there. Mm-hmm. You should never put those in the street.
Yes.
Also, public streets get things in them all the time. There are always something in the street. I mean, we were walking today in the neighborhood and there's all kinds of stuff in the street. Mm-hmm. All kinds of leaves and stuff. So my take was, if you have a vehicle that cannot drive over normal road debris, like be that rocks, pebbles, dirt, grass clippings that are a little damp, that vehicle should probably not be on the street, or you should not be driving that vehicle on the street. If you cannot handle slight adverse road conditions. Maybe if somebody's sprinkler's getting in the road a little bit.
Yeah.
If my car can't drive over that, that's my problem.
Right. Yes, and I do see that point that you're making. Like it is somewhat the vehicle itself's fault that it can't go over debris like that.
Yes.
Regardless of, I mean, if it's...
It should never be in the street to begin with.
Yes, it
but
definitely
it's gonna be in the street.
Yeah. But there is a conscious effort that people mowing their lawns can make to not throw grass in the street, and I think that's what your post was specifically about, lawnmowers and whatnot, and how
you should not put your grass clippings in the street. Yes. I agree with that.
Right.
But I also agree that it's gonna happen.
But also, if people mowing their house, they don't put the grass clippings in the street. There are other ways that grass gets into the street, like if it's
dirt, windy, grass, leaves.
Rainy. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's less common for grass to end up in the street unless it's someone does it, and I think it is good to make it aware, like don't put your grass clippings in the street because there are vehicles that will slip and fall under it if it goes over it.
Yeah. But
I do think it's kind of silly that a motorcycle can't go over that.
I agree. And what happened after that was a lot of attacks. People messaging me hoping that I...
Like death threats.
Yes. Hoping for my demise.
Yeah.
Which is actually hilarious.
Yeah, but it's also like... It's just... I don't know, like I think it's kind of funny, like the photo that you posted of, like I'm trying to see.
Oh, there's plenty of memes. I posted like 8 different posts on this.
Yeah, like the memes are kind of funny because it's just, in the end of the day, it's silly. Like if your motorcycle can't go over grass, like that's like funny and to laugh about, like that it's that ridiculous and that sensitive. But again,
I don't want anybody to get hurt.
There shouldn't be debris in the street. Yeah.
I don't want anybody to get hurt. But in the end of the day, my car has ran over things in the street that I was frustrated they were in the street.
Yeah.
And I just moved on.
Oh, I
just kept driving.
Someone made points about like driving the Camaro like on the street in the rain with like your tires.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
that's hilarious.
No, but it's like, I get what they're saying though, like your car can't go through any adverse conditions
by my own doing,
and it's like silly.
I don't blame anyone else.
And like I would make a meme about that, like, oh, my car can't drive, my race car can't drive in the rain, and that's dangerous. Like you can crash from, if you were to take the Camaro out and it was raining, like on the highway, you could crash.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame anyone else.
Yeah,
it would be my decision that led me to this situation.
Yeah,
like I could have put different tires on it. I could have driven a different vehicle.
I think that's the meme part about it that's funny, is like a vehicle not being able to go over grass, a race car not being able to drive in the water. Like to me as a girl, I'm like, it sounds so silly that like this vehicle can't go over something so small.
But then like some of the other things that people were saying were like, what if I threw a bunch of grass clippings at the top end of the drag strip? And I'm like, okay, so now do you treat the public road in front of my house like a drag strip? Like it's public road versus a private road.
Yeah.
Of course, the assumption that it's going to be clean.
And like both isn't okay.
But they're completely different. Like I go to the drag strip and I pay somebody when I enter to make sure that the track is clean.
Right.
Like, yeah, you pay the government, but like they're not going to clean the road. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
They'd hope that you crash. So it's kind of like a crazy situation to compare that. And then they were comparing other things too.
What did you write on the initial Facebook post?
I just wrote that if your vehicle can't go over adverse road conditions, you have a weak vehicle. And I don't think they liked when I called it weak.
Yeah, I think someone commented like, oh, your Camaro can't drive in the rain. Like, would you consider it weak?
And I said, yes.
Yeah.
I said I would.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of
like it's my fault, yes.
Like, I think 2 things can be true in this as well in the end of the day. Like, these vehicles can be considered weak or whatever you want to call it because they can't go over grass clippings because a race car can't go over rain. But also, keep the grass clippings off the street. Like, that's not okay. Like,
keep everything off the street.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen, like, garbage cans dumped over into the street. I've seen paint in the street. Like,
yeah.
I've
Like,
seen a lot of things in the street that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, two things can be true, and it can be...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's just
can be true.
These motorcyclists are hilarious, too, because they act so tough. Like, when you talk to a motorcyclist, they're like, oh, you don't understand how dangerous it is to ride this. Like, they're doing a favor to me. Like, thanks for serving your country? Like, what? That's how they act. Like, they're doing, like, this service to the community. Like, you don't understand. Like, people just cut you off and crash into you. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, thank you? Like,
yeah, what?
Like, are you a fireman? Like, what do you, like, they act like they're, like, protecting the community. Okay. They have this, like, I'm above you, but you also have to protect me. Like, check twice. Look 12 times for a motorcyclist.
You like just look 12 times for any vehicle on the road.
Don't crash into someone.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
But don't act like you're doing me a favor riding your motorcycle. That's how it feels sometimes. I don't know. It's just a crazy situation. Bike guys are whiny. I never realized that. Like, I made fun of all these Jeep people, and the Jeep people didn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you say something about bikers, and they're like, the toughest of the community suddenly are like, cancel this guy. That's so mean. He made me feel bad. Like, geez, man, freaking toughen up. I hope our kid's not like that when he's older.
Okay.
Like a 50-year-old man crying on Facebook about a grass clippings in the street.
In the end of the day, like, it was all, I think, in fun.
It started off like that.
Yeah.
And then it ended me finding out how whiny a whole community of the people are.
Yeah.
And if any group of people are that whiny, I'm going to poke at it.
I'm sure you would maybe leave a comment if someone said something about, like, race cars, like, that they're weak because they can't drive in the rain or something. Like, you might comment on that. Trying to play devil's advocate.
I don't know. I don't know if I would.
And I feel like the race car community can be a little whiny too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not just...
Especially like guys that are in slow streetcars, like somebody like me who's in the streetcar class, but isn't fast enough to win the streetcar class.
Yeah.
Like somebody like me, like I'm peak whiny situation.
Yeah. So like, you fit right in.
But I whine at a driver's meeting.
Yeah.
Or on a YouTube video. These guys are whining in comments. And it's always funny too because it's like, it's these people that have like motorcycles in their profile pictures, like no picture of them. It's just like a hog.
Yeah.
Just like sitting there, no person on it or anything.
Love their
like they just,
motorcycle.
it looks like something you took off like a Facebook Marketplace ad. Like, is that even yours?
Yeah.
Or did you just put that here? Probably like some bots. But I don't know. There was so much. If you wanted to see it, you got to scroll back on Cooper Bogetti Facebook page, and you can find all kinds of good reading. I'll warn you now, if you're sitting on the toilet, your legs are going to fall asleep. It's good reading.
There's like 1,000 comments on that.
Yeah,
post.
just on one post.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. It's
just a little silly, and Cooper is not a bad person. Don't wish death threats against him. He just speaks his mind and speaks how it is sometimes, and I guess that got you in trouble this time.
It was so funny.
Like, you were speaking your mind and, like, literally, like, kind of saying it how it is. Like, you know, don't put grass clippings in the street, but if your car can't drive over it, like, maybe you should get a different car.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Like, if I had a car that
again, two things are true.
Yeah. Like, if my car tires were really bald, for instance, and I couldn't drive over rain because my car tires were so bald, I wouldn't be like, how dare the county have wet roads?
Yeah, right.
Even though I have bald tires.
Right, yeah.
Like, no, you're the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's your fault.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. And then the best were people, like, commenting, like, oh, here before he backpedals on this. And then I'd make another post about it. They thought I was going to, like, make a public apology. But I went the opposite. I leaned into it. I pushed the throttle down. But not too much.
I think there was a good amount of people that got entertainment out of it as well.
And then it was funny because there was also bike guys that were they were supporting me. They were like, if you ride a motorcycle and are scared of grass clippings, you should not ride a motorcycle.
I did see some comments of people who were like, I ride a motorcycle every day and like saying things like that.
Yeah. I just hope that people understand that bike guys aren't as tough as they pretend to be. And it actually made me realize that show Sons of Anarchy, that really famous one, mm-hmm. they filmed it out in the desert because there's no grass there. They were only tough out in the desert. If they came into like a suburban neighborhood and people just put their grass in their street, the whole gang would be ruined. They'd all crash. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
But also, oh no, this was another comment I saw. It was from someone that rides motorcycles, and he was like, you can go over grass clippings. It's just don't like speed through them or break through them. So that's also like just drive safely. It's the same like when you're driving a normal car, don't go flying over a puddle.
No. How dare you? How dare you think that these motorcyclists need to pay attention to the road and like drive safely? How dare you?
Right. Yeah, like that point, I was like, okay, so it's not just like if you drive over grass, you're going to fall. It's if you're braking or speeding through. From my understanding, that's what seems...
That's the same with my car, too. They were like, if you drove your Camaro through grass clippings on the street, I bet you'd crash. And I'm like, yeah, at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Not at back road speeds.
Right.
Not at 20.
Yeah, right. So it's also like practice safe driving, I guess, as well.
Wear some gear. Wear your helmet.
And again, there shouldn't be any debris in the road from just a homeowner mowing their lawn, or if they just have, some nails, just throw it in the street. Like, no, that should not be done. But
your garbage can shouldn't fall over into the street.
Yeah, but still, like, it seems like there's ways that it can still be safe when those things happen, because they're bound to happen sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if, like, our neighborhood put, like, a grass clipping barrier to stop motorcyclists. Like, if, like, at the end of our neighborhood, both ends, they just put a bunch of grass clippings. And people, like, with motorcycles would have to, like, turn around.
They couldn't come in and out.
Those, like, grates that they use to keep livestock out, like, on the ground, where, like, the animals don't like to step in it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, something like that, but to keep motorcyclists out.
Oh, okay.
I think I would support that. I would pay extra money for the HOA to support the anti-motorcyclist.
Okay, you're not anti-motorcyclist. Relax.
I'm anti-crybabies.
Yeah, anyone.
And there's a lot of them, apparently. And they all follow me. People were unfollowing, and I was like, cool. One less guy that's going to get offended. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with Cooper. Like, you just can't get offended by the stuff he says, because he's going to say it regardless.
Only the strong survive around here.
Yeah, you just got to take it with a grain of salt.
We ain't got no time for your whiny ass on this comment thread.
Cooper gets passionate about some of the things that he talks about. And even me, sometimes I'm like, whoa, okay. I can't go there with you on that one. But people on Facebook, there are people out there that'll go with you on that one and challenge you. And
they followed me into the darkness.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm honestly, I like when I post something and it gets some pushback, because that's kind of enjoyable. If I'm just surrounded by people that are going to agree with every crazy thing I say, then that's not fun to me.
True.
I don't like to live in an echo box.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, also, I'm sure you learned some things from that post. Like,
I learned how whiny bikers are.
Well, I learned that it's not just going through the grass, and I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's if you brake or if you speed through the gas, like if you press on the gas through the grass.
The other thing is, too, like, crashing can't be that bad. I've seen Garza crash, 15 times. He bounces back up.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of rolls out of it.
He does. The amount of times I've seen him go over, JH's jump.
Case the jump and just roll along with it, almost into a fire.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, I mean, he just rolls with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think if you ride a bike, you just need to reevaluate your existence a little, but...
Okay. Relax. Relax there.
Okay, we can move on from that. Enough about the bikes.
I got something that we can kind of
Oh, wait. Follow for next week, because I have some things to say about pit bulls and pit bull owners.
What do you mean?
Next episode.
Why can't we talk about it now?
Because I want to go in on Facebook a little bit about pit bulls and pit bull owners.
Oh, no. I don't want you to do that.
Oh, that one you want me to avoid?
Yeah, because it's just like, I don't like that. I don't like
Why does that one?
Because that's literally being like racist. Dog racist. It is.
What?
It is.
What if I attack Ford owners versus Chevy owners?
We don't need to be mean to dogs. You don't need to, come on. I'm going to make you cut this out.
Okay, we'll move on from this.
Hang on, what
I was thinking Christmas cards this year are going to be tough.
We never do Christmas cards.
Yeah, but we're going to be a family right before Christmas. So we're going to like quickly take a photo and just ship it.
like FedEx
3 days.
overnight it literally to people.
Because I was like, oh, we're going to be right on the cusp.
No, that is kind of true though. Damn. Maybe if he comes like a week before, then we will.
That's going to be a hustle.
Yeah, I don't know. We probably won't.
But
maybe next year.
Gotta get it out real quick. Maybe we can do an email list.
Yeah. One thing I did kind of want to go off, and maybe some people can, this kind of goes off the driving subject. I sometimes, most of the time, hate driving with Cooper.
Oh yeah, all the time.
He just pisses me off with some of the things he does. For example, the light will be green. He's off the gas. Why?
Well, I assess every situation a little differently. If I have a feeling that people in front of me are going to be braking, I don't like accelerating up to that. And if I'm watching a couple cars ahead of me and I'm like, they're probably going to brake, I don't like hitting the brakes hard. I don't like hitting the brakes hard, so I try to avoid that at all costs.
You don't even stick. This is another thing. He doesn't keep up with traffic.
Yeah, but I keep up with the speed limit.
But you're already, if here's the light and then there's a car in front of you, you're already 4 or 5 cars back.
But it's the speed limit, it's not the car.
If they brake, you have plenty of time to brake as well, and you don't need to be off the gas, sir.
It's not exactly the speed limit. It's like
nuts.
If I'm on like a road that has a bunch of lights and a bunch of turns and people cutting people off, like I just pick what I feel is like a safe speed that I don't feel like I'm gonna have to lock up my brakes or get cut off or have to hit the brakes really hard when a light changes. Like I don't enjoy that. So I don't drive with like a purpose. I just like if I'm going somewhere, I just kind of like cruise along, moseying down the street.
Honestly, I'm sure I'll appreciate this once we have our baby because I'm not gonna want you to be driving crazy. Like
yeah, like I just like if I'm in a lane, like I'm not like trying to get out of this lane to that lane to over there. Like I'm not like that.
See,
like
that's how I drive. But that's how I drive and how I like getting places. I'm like I want to get there and I want to get back. Like I have that like fast paced mentality.
Well, my dad always told me like growing up and learning how to drive, he's like, if it takes you an extra 2 minutes to get there and you're a little bit safer doing it, like, is it not worth just taking the extra 2 minutes?
But it's also like, can you just keep up with traffic and also be safe?
Not always. Not always.
Like, you literally won't keep up with traffic, and that's what pisses me off because I'm always looking ahead as well. And I'm like, okay, that light's green right now, but you're 5 cars back, so if you're not keeping up with traffic, it's going to turn yellow, and then we're going to miss the light. And the amount of times that has happened, also while I'm like, I need to get home right now for whatever reason, and he doesn't, like, press his foot on the pedal, I get so annoyed.
Don't just say forever, whatever reason. It's usually because you're having anxiety being out.
Or my stomach hurts.
From anxiety.
It's usually my stomach hurts.
Usually from anxiety.
Or I feel sick because I'm pregnant.
But
that happened.
You have not thrown
that
up.
That happened the other day.
You have not thrown up yet from pregnancy.
I felt nauseous this morning.
So everything else is just you trying to trick me into being reckless on these streets.
But the other day when we were going for that drive with the dogs and we had the windows down, it was so hot, and we literally like got to the location and I was like, I need to go home. Like I feel so sick right now. And then you're like not trying to get me home. Like,
we had also...
And we missed a light because you didn't keep up with traffic and you were off the pedal when the light was green. It drives me nuts.
So that time we did have 2 dogs that were loose in the back.
Yes, and you still had to brake hard. If you would have just kept up with traffic, You would just remain the speed limit.
No, I might have had to brake hard still.
No, you wouldn't have. Okay. You literally wouldn't have.
We'll have to look at the dash cam.
It was more...
Let's also say that the car that we normally drive is Bronte's Trailblazer RS, which is this little 3-cylinder turbo front-wheel drive mini SUV. It's not like I'm, driving a freaking sports car slowly. I'm driving a regular-ass SUV slowly. Like, if I was driving when I drive the wagon and he's like, oh, he's going 15.
Faster.
No, but like if he's going 15 miles an hour under the speed limit in like a sports car, you're like, well, that guy just seems like a freaking loser.
Okay, you don't drive like 15 miles per hour under the speed
limit.
No,
I don't. I was just using that as an extreme example.
Yeah, you just you don't keep... Traffic, I think, is naturally faster than the speed limit. And my thing is just you don't keep up with traffic.
I don't think about the speed limit. Nuts. I think about where I feel comfortable with driving. Like sometimes I see cars in front of me that are like bumper to bumper going 50 on these like roads with a bunch of lights and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want A, to be in a situation where somebody's going to rear end me, or B, be in a situation where I have to really hard brake.
But you've still been in situations where you have to really hard brake.
Yeah, but I try to avoid them.
Yeah.
By having room in front of me.
Good job.
Oh, that's fine. That's a decision that you get to make on your own. I mean, I can't.
You did it the other day. You had to brake really hard.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that it never will happen. I'm just saying that I try to make that situation not as likely.
Okay.
You hard brake too, don't you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but you try not to, right? Right? I mean, yeah. So you also don't do a good enough job.
No.
So neither of us accomplish our goals.
Just keep up with traffic, please. That's all I ask.
I like a car. I like a couple cars in between me and the car in front of me.
You don't need 5. You need like 1 or 2. 1 is plenty.
Not always.
2 max. You don't need 5 cars distance in front of you.
Like if you're going like 50 miles an hour, having 4 or 5 cars in front of you is not that crazy.
But that's on the highway. That's different.
No, it happens.
That never really. I'm talking about. It's more
like on Fruitville. That happens. You're going 50.
Yeah. You don't need that many cars in between the two of you.
Well, that's your opinion.
I mean, 50, I guess, is different from the highway because the highway you're going like 75.
Yeah.
But the highway, that's normal because it's like there's no lights. Like that's fine with being. As long as you're going the speed limit, and if there's other cars, I don't need you to be up on someone's ass on the highway.
You want me to be?
No, not on the highway.
You want me to be in all?
No.
But even if we're going 50 and there's a light, and I'm a half a car behind somebody, that is close.
That's, yes, but you never do that.
Yeah, and because I don't like to.
I'm not telling you to be up their ass. I'm telling you to be at least 2 cars away, not 5 cars away, because then you end up missing the effing light.
Okay.
And it drives me nuts.
That's fair. The other day I saw this video, and it happens to me, like randomly. Like I'll go to a restaurant, and you're just sitting there eating, and like there's like maybe live music, and there's just like a bunch of like 70-year-old people dancing.
Yeah, it's so cute.
I was thinking I never want to go to a restaurant like that again.
Oh my God, that's so messed up. Why? What are they doing to you?
They're not the entertainment I want to see. I want to see the couple next to me arguing. That's the entertainment I want to see. Oh, shoot. I don't want to watch 2 80-year-old people slow dancing.
Why can't you just let them slow dance?
They can. I don't want to go to that restaurant. That should be on the Yelp.
I think we've talked about this.
That should be on the Yelp thing. There will be boomers slow dancing.
Okay.
When you look at a restaurant.
That's so mean.
I like
leave them alone. Yeah, leave them alone.
I don't yell at them to stop.
Yeah, but like...
Or throw things at them.
Okay, but if it's our favorite restaurant, let's say, and they have a live band playing one time, and there's little old grandma and grandpa slow dancing, let them live their life.
Hey, can we play a different song?
Yeah, no, like that's so sweet.
They can do that. I'm not telling them they can't do that.
I'm going to make you do that with me when we're 80 years old.
I'm just saying.
To make you dance.
It's very nice to assume I'll make it to 80, but I'm just saying I don't want to be at that restaurant. You can do that at maybe the bingo hall, but I prefer not to eat at that restaurant when I'm eating my onion rings.
You're so ridiculous. You really are so ridiculous. Like,
that's like if you went to like Margaritaville, I feel like that's what you see. Like Jimmy Buffett songs, bunch of old gray-haireds dancing.
Let them dance.
I'm not stopping them.
But hashtag let grandma
I'm not stopping
dance.
them. I don't think it should be illegal or outlawed. I just want to know when I'm pulling up to a restaurant that they're going to be doing that, and I will make an appropriate decision in the moment to not go.
Okay. Well, then I will be going without you.
You just want to watch them dance?
It's not offending me or affecting my life in any way. I will still enjoy the restaurant and enjoy the music and enjoy the atmosphere if someone's dancing.
What's your preferred entertainment?
What if it's a kid?
I definitely don't want to see a kid at a restaurant. Kids should stay home from restaurants.
Like if we're ever out to eat with our child and there's live music playing and he wants to get up and go jump around and dance, he will be jumping around and dancing.
It really depends on the restaurant on that one. A lot of restaurants.
No, it's like let the kid live. Let grandma and grandpa live. It shouldn't be affecting you.
It's not Disney. Go play with the band.
Yeah, but people dancing in a restaurant, they dance. It's not just like the music playing in the restaurant, they just get up and dance. It's usually because there's a band or something. There's a little area if you want to get up and dance, right?
I don't know. Sometimes they're just like.
So like if that's
you just walk into Cracker Barrel and there's just like two people dancing.
I mean that's a little weird.
In the general store.
Just like the music.
Yeah, just
playing up top.
Like the elevator music, and then like an announcement comes over, and it's like
that doesn't happen though.
Like, oh, party of 3.
Like that would be us like standing up in Texas Roadhouse, like slow dancing. Like no one does that.
I bet you somebody has.
Well, if they wanted to, it's not affecting my life. I would just be like
stepping on the peanuts.
I would be like, that's a little weird. But if there's like a band and an area and it's like live music at the restaurant, that's different.
I don't know. I don't think people should have fun in public.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't think people should enjoy themselves with other people around. I think you should sit down and eat your meal.
In public.
No, you should eat your meal, talk quietly to the guests that are around you, and politely leave.
Okay.
That's my preferred way to eat at a restaurant.
Oh my God, I have something in my eye. It really hurts.
You know, or all restaurants should just be drive-through and I don't have to deal with it.
What's something that you don't want our child to have from me?
I mean,
what did I say the other day that started
definitely don't want him to have your reproductive organs.
What?
You know, I'd like him to have mine if he's a boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you were saying
what
like.
What did I say? That
you like attacked me in the place, like we were getting the ultrasound. She's like, she didn't realize she was attacking me, but she was like, I really hope that he has my nose and my lips and my ears.
No,
I was like, how bad are mine?
No. I said I think he has my nose. And then I never said anything about lips. I hope he has your lips.
Well, basically, she just attacked me in this like roundabout way by saying all the things that she wanted him to have from either of us.
I didn't say all the things. We just had said the nose thing. And that's how the conversation got brought up. So I'm asking what do you want him to not have of me? Or what would you love for him to have from you?
I would like him to have my height. I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
As a boy. Mm-hmm. I think.
That'll be interesting. Yeah. I haven't thought about that.
I mean,
because you're 6'.
There is that short king thing, but I think that's kind of a stupid thing.
Well, I'm 5'1" and you're 6'1".
Yeah.
That's very different.
It is a foot.
Okay.
But you're also a woman. But your dad's not very tall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my height.
Your dad isn't super tall either.
No, or my brother, or my sisters.
They're normal height though. Like
Kai is kind of tall.
Yeah.
I've never had a sports ability. I've never cared for it.
Yeah, you're not that. What's the word? You're not.
Are you gonna call me not coordinated?
Yes, that's it.
Nice,
you're
thank
not.
you. Appreciate that. Maybe he can have my mind in other ways, but he doesn't have to have my sports ability.
Yeah, I have that. He'll get that from me.
Yeah.
I'm coordinated and sporty.
Oh, you're sporty.
Sporty.
What sport? Name 5 players. I don't know. Isn't that what people do when they see like somebody wearing like a jersey or like a?
I played softball when I was younger, and then I played lacrosse all through middle school and high school, volleyball, and I was good. I was in varsity that doesn't count. In 8th grade. So before I
there wasn't enough
to high
people.
School, I got moved up. That's not true.
There wasn't enough people.
That's not true.
In these sports. Because we went to such a small school that people were like, I'm on varsity. And it's like, is there a JV?
No, that's not true. Because, no, I wasn't even in high school yet. I was in middle school. And me and some of my friends who were good, we got brought up to the high school varsity.
Doesn't that make it seem like there's not enough people if they brought up multiple people from middle school?
I will go my entire life that I got moved up from middle school to varsity. And for no other reason besides we were good.
Because when I played volleyball in 8th grade, I played volleyball in 7th grade, they put me on the 8th grade team as well because there wasn't many people. So it was like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade were all on the same team.
I don't think there wasn't enough people because we never went, like we got moved up, but we never really played. Like it was just to like have extra people on the team, I guess, and to get us started like younger.
Are you sure it wasn't because of size of schools? Like if you guys, your middle school to play versus volleyball in other schools were like too far? Like that was part of our problem in middle school is all the other schools that we had to play sports versus were an hour or 2 away. Because like you have to play in your division. So, like, if your division for volleyball isn't that big, then that kind of hurts you. Was there an 8th grade team of volleyball?
Of lacrosse, yeah.
Or volleyball?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I don't know about volleyball because I didn't get moved up for volleyball.
Okay, so there was a 8th grade team in lacrosse.
Yeah.
So that's a weird thing, too, because...
That we would, like, play other schools and stuff, yeah.
When you were playing for the varsity team.
But when we were playing for... middle school, too. So, middle school, I think, was combined. It was like 7th and 8th grade lacrosse. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. And then we'd play people. I don't know.
I'm just curious because I don't remember how it worked, but I remember our school was so small that they used to have to ship us like 2 hours away.
Ship us?
Yeah, they would put us in a bus, lock the door.
That's all the games were far because we lived out in the middle of nowhere.
And mine were farther.
Yeah,
but they have to go by school size because like you can't play a school with 10,000 kids.
Yes, you played in your division. Mm-hmm. Yes, but every school was like at least an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, but we never played East Hampton. We played like Ross. And
that's when you were in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we never played like East Hampton Middle School or Emma Gansett or any of those.
Okay, I don't know. This conversation's boring now.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I don't know. I don't remember playing sports. I remember I hated Little League. I hated Little League.
Oh, I loved Little League.
It's so boring. They would put you like any spot in the they would put me in the outfield. And I would just stand there. Nothing would ever get hit to me.
Yeah, that was boring.
I'm like, guys, can we do like this is the worst sport ever. I'm just standing here. It took me longer to put my socks on, and it was more difficult to put my socks on than it is to play in this in this position.
You talk about whiny.
I'm convinced.
This is the worst sport ever.
It is. Baseball sucks. They're like, oh, it's America's pastime. I'm like, yeah, maybe we should retire it. Like, it sucks.
You are talking about how biker people are whiny. Look at you. Worst sport ever.
It was. I don't know. Like, I'd rather play a lot of other sports. I feel like it was like one of those things, like if you didn't play Little League, like they were like shaming you. Like, oh, you're not going to Little League after to get some energy out? I'm like, energy out? I stand there in the outfield and pick grass. Like, what do you mean? Like, energy out? Like, I'm just waiting for donuts after practice. Or we'd go get ice cream after a game. They're like, oh, we did a game where, I don't know what happened. Somebody stood in the outfield, a couple hits made it home, and then we got ice cream. Congrats. Everybody gets a trophy.
I was catcher in my Little League, so that was fun.
That's more of an action-packed sport.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, more of the ones, like in the field actually is where you get most of the action.
I'm pretty sure even some Little League, like a coach pitches. They take the pitcher job away from the kids.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, oh, let the coaches hit too then. Like, why even bother? Just let me watch a game.
I remember my dad and I used to go to like a field in our town and he would practice with me and that was always fun. Like he'd throw a ball to me and I'd hit it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a cute memory.
I don't know. It was an interesting one.
That was funny.
I hope our kid's not like, I want to play soccer or something. Ugh. God. If I'm dragged to a soccer field on like Sunday morning or something, I'm going to be pissed.
I know.
Return him.
That field, there's like this big field near our house and there's always soccer games playing there on the weekends. I think it's on the weekends.
Every day.
And it's like 11 o'clock, hottest time of the day, and like all the parents have their chairs and are sitting out there. I'm like, that'll not be me.
I did that too as a kid.
No, I'm just kidding.
I have like a box of trophies at my parents' house.
Oh my God, is my mascara everywhere?
A little bit. There's a box of trophies at my parents' house from when I was a kid playing all these different sports. Uh-huh. And I didn't deserve a single one of them.
Why?
The fact I just showed up.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do anything. Yeah. They're like, wow, you won soccer. I'm like, what do you mean I won soccer? I don't even know how to put my knee pads on. My shin guards. I'm in regular shoes.
I would be more excited if he wanted to play like baseball because I could like do that with him, like we could throw him the ball and like practice with him, or lacrosse. Like I know how to play lacrosse. Volleyball, I know how to play volleyball. But soccer, I was never good at soccer. I could never get it. I have no idea how to play. So like I can't teach him or do that with him,
Yeah.
But other things I'd be up for.
I don't know, it's a tough one. I mean, we always went to all those, and I think I was only there because my brother was there for the older ones. And they were like, well, I don't know, put him in, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, he can't catch or throw or run. I was actually pretty fast as a kid, but I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, you did track and field in high school.
But like when I was really young, I was pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like we used to do, as boys do when you are at recess, you just compete in your street clothes.
Yeah.
You're just like wearing your jeans and you're
Trying
just
to
like,
beat each other.
Who's the fastest?
Yeah.
And that was always the normal thing. But I was actually fairly quick. There was a couple kids that were just as fast, but...
Do you want to talk about the show we started last night?
I almost watched it all.
I know. Now we need to rewind it.
Well, there was two things that I think people should watch. That Poison documentary was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
If you feel like you don't want to eat anymore, watch a documentary called Poisoned on Netflix.
No, I actually got food the other day and I was like a little weary now, but I'm like, I can't live my life like that. You just can't, but it is scary. The only thing okay, wait, let's go back. So that movie Poisoned is about basically the food industry and like
foodborne illnesses
like E. coli and things in meat and how lettuce is really bad, like things like that. And they showed all this stuff and stories about people who, like this girl, what happened to her exactly?
She got E. coli and it ate her organs and she died.
No, but that other one who survived. She got E. coli and then...
Oh, her kidneys were failing after because of all the...
Yeah, it was something that she came back. It just took her a while to get out of the hospital and whatnot. But so they tell you all these stories and all these kind of bad things about meat and stuff. And one of the interesting things was in Europe, they say that the food is labeled that it was like checked for I think they call it like pathogens or something, you know, so you know
like
that
salmonella or E. coli. Or...
Yeah, so like, you know, like, okay, this is salmonella free, you know, and we don't have that. The end of the show, though, they didn't really...
They didn't make you feel better?
They didn't really say anything like, you know, stay away from this, like...
Yeah, but not everything has a happy ending.
I know, yeah.
What
I got from it was lettuce is the worst, and like packaged lettuce and like leafy greens are kind of like bad.
Yeah, the leafy greens, because you don't cook them, are really bad. But also I liked when they had like the government officials there, and they're like, so what is it that you do? What do you, like, they had all these government organizations, and then they had two like higher up officials. They're like,
the commissioners.
Yeah, like, what do you do? And they're like, oh no, we don't have any control over that. Oh no, we can't do that. We have no control. So they're like, they have this power, but they actually don't have it.
It was the FDA and it was like a commissioner from the FDA
and the USDA or something.
Yeah, and a commissioner from the USDA. Yeah.
But they were basically just making excuses why they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's, you guys know my opinion. I'm like, well, then fire them. Mm-hmm. Get rid of all of them.
Well, it's one of those things like that almost opened my eyes to where us as like American citizens should be like pushing to have those things like more regulated and stuff. You know how people go on social media when things are happening in the world to like advocate for this change and stuff. And it's like, that's something that should be really changed and we should like really advocate for, but I don't even know where to start on that. But, you know, to like protect our food more so. And what they kept saying, they'd be like, United States of America has the most safest food industry or something. But yet then they're saying these facts about food in Europe. It's like, no, we don't have the safest food system.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little scary. So maybe if you're like scared of food things, don't watch it. But
no, I think you should watch it. Even if you have anxiety, I think you should watch it.
Because I do. I have anxiety about food.
I think you should lean into it. Like, if you're scared of something, I think you should be around it more.
Yeah.
Because I think that's fun. I think that's a good way to be.
But that movie, and then this is a show that we started last night called Painkiller.
Painkiller, yeah. And it's about the opioid epidemic, and it's wild.
It's based on a true story, but
the Sinclair family that brought Oxycontin to market. And it's a true story, and it's a true depiction of how the opioid epidemic happened. But the stories that are kind of involved are like fake ones. Like they have like a fake storyline of a person that like goes through his struggle. Like that's fake.
Yeah, yeah.
But like the actual like how it all broke down is real.
Yes.
And it's crazy because they just are selling like hardcore drugs and forcing these doctors basically to prescribe it more. Like these pretty saleswomen will come up and be like, oh, doctor, you're not prescribing, 10,000 milligrams to all of your clients that have toe aches. Why are you doing that? And he's like, well, I don't think they need to be hooked on a, Schedule 3 narcotic because they have an ingrown toenail.
Yeah.
She's like, well, you can make a bonus off it. And he's like, okay, I'll get them hooked on, heroin. Sure. Like, that's pretty much how it all went down. Like, you will get hooked on heroin because the doctor got a kickback from...
Wait, why are you saying heroin? You mean oxy?
Well, Oxycontin is heroin. It's just, they're both from the same plant.
Okay, but say Oxycontin because that's what the show is about.
Pretty much the same thing, though, because they both come from the poppy plant, I guess.
Okay.
But, yeah, so they're just getting these massive kickbacks from it, and it was all corrupt, and it's just a crazy... Once you turn that first episode on, I guarantee you will not want to stop watching it.
Yeah, I'm going to make Cooper go back and rewatch.
And there's another one I want to watch, too, that's on Hulu, I guess. It's something else. It's similar, but it's about the same situation, but like a different story. I guess it's really good.
About like the drug industry?
Yeah.
Like
I just find that stuff super interesting. Any kind of like world-changing situations. Like, I mean, opioids last year killed more people than pretty much anything. Yeah. And Oxy is like the king of it.
Well, one of the things they said in the show was that when they were coming up, because it's all about like them coming out with this new drug, oxycodone, Oxycontin, whatever, and they were marketing it towards people whose like pain levels were what, like 4 or 5, and they said like when your pain level is like 6 and up, they use morphine. So they were going for people with like smaller pain issues. And I said to Cooper this morning, I'm like, if my pain's at a 4 or 5, like I'm just gonna take an extra strength Tylenol. Like, why?
Yeah,
like,
but
why
these last like 12 hours, and you feel like I mean, the difference is staggering. If you have like a 4 pain on your back or something, and you take an Oxy versus an Advil, the pain completely goes away with one of them. Plus, you feel great. You're high out of your mind. You just took a insanely powerful drug.
Yeah.
And the second you take one, they got you.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference, is like Tylenol and stuff like doesn't give you like a feeling like that where Oxy does.
No, and it's not going to help like a legitimate backache.
Yeah, but like a 4 pain, like I could freaking say my sciatica is a 4 pain.
I think
and like if for this pain, I would take a Tylenol if I could.
I think you may just have a skewed scale of pain though.
I don't know.
Like
maybe.
like people that have went through like major surgeries.
When I got my wisdom teeth taken out, took extra strength Tylenol. That was it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be and that was.
No, I did the same thing. I didn't take anything when.
Yeah, like when
they prescribed me OxyContin.
Yeah, and I don't think they prescribed me. Maybe they offered it, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna take like what I want to take. But when the numbness wore off, like that hurt. I remember like I was crying like in pain, but then I just took an extra strength Tylenol and I was good.
Yeah, I had all 4 of mine taken out in one day, and I took one Oxy, and I didn't really like it. I didn't think that it did much for me.
Oh, you did try it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they told me to do.
Well, yeah, I know.
That's why people get addicted, because like
yeah, the doctors.
I was told to take these. I wasn't told like, oh, if you feel like you need one, you should take one. I was told, hey, take these. Here's a full bottle.
Yeah, like it's
Live
different
it up,
from
bud.
an antibiotic. Like an antibiotic, like you have to take because when you have an infection or bacteria thing, right?
You have to go through the cycle.
But just for pain, it's like if you really feel like you need this.
But that was the thing. They were stifling how addictive it is. They were trying to like play it off like, oh, it's not really addictive. Mm-hmm. And then when people were saying that it was addictive, they were blaming the addicts. They were like, you're just a bad person. Mm. And I mean, talk about fun to blame the person that's addicted to your drug for being addicted.
I don't know. I think it doesn't need to be prescribed in a lot of instances that it is.
No, of course not. And then like towards the end of towards where I was at in the show, they're just selling it on the streets all over because now it's just like mass produced.
Wow.
And people are just tearing it up. But it's a fun show. It's sad. It's definitely tough to watch, especially I'm sure almost everybody knows somebody that's been prescribed, overprescribed, and addicted to.
Trigger warning to that if that's going to be triggering for someone.
Yeah, I mean, just be conscious, I guess, if you can't watch a show because of something.
Yeah.
But
that happened with that was the thing with Euphoria. So it was very intense with drugs and stuff. Like there was people that were like, I had family member, I was addicted to drugs like that. Like be careful watching it, you know?
It's interesting.
Because it can be like triggering, like almost re-trigger that addictiveness in it, or the scenes were like really scary in Euphoria where if someone had something similar happen, that could be triggering.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Like, I think that's a new thing.
Like no, like I always worried like with my mom. My mom was an alcoholic, but she's been sober now for like almost 12 years.
Does she consider it like that though? I thought in the program you always consider yourself an alcoholic.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I say she was an alcoholic, but she's sober now. But I remember like even when I was younger, like I'd always be nervous about like drinking in front of her. Mm-hmm. Still, even nowadays, like I don't. I mean, she's fine now, but I feel almost bad or weird, you know? Like I just don't want to trigger her in any way or make her feel like, you know, we're all drinking. Like, oh, she should just have a drink. She's missing out, you know, like in that sense of those things.
But I'm an addict too, but I don't plan on getting clean. Like,
you're a coffee addict.
Caffeine.
Yeah.
I mean, caffeine's the most heavily used drug in the world.
But exactly, it's like if you cut out coffee and then I was like drinking
just caffeine
it in front
in general
of you every day, you know?
Yeah, I think that would be my fault, though. Like, that would be my, like, thing that I would have to come to terms with.
Yeah, but it would be nice for me to, like, give, like, a trigger, you know, when I'm talking about these shows, like, a trigger warning, or just, like, be respectful and, like, don't have a cup of coffee in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's reasonable for people, like, you know, who cutting out caffeine, cutting out drinking, cutting out smoking, just, like, not to blatantly do that in front of them if it's someone you care about that you know who's like who struggles with addiction in that way too.
Yeah, I can see that. Just kind of try to avoid it best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I have different opinions on that, but I'll leave it alone because I know we would get heated.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about some of the other podcasts that are going up and kind of the rest of the couple weeks. So Jeremy's podcast just went out, and that one was really fun. Mm-hmm. If you're listening to this, maybe check that one out. If you want to hear some stuff that me and Jeremy talked about, we talked about faith a little bit. We talked about cars, and we talked about all kinds of different things. Jeremy's always fun to talk to and hang out with, so that was a lot of fun.
He made us breakfast that morning when he came down.
He did, and he brought us a bunch of like plants for the house, potatoes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then JH's podcast goes up on Monday, which is a really good listen. If I do say so myself, I'm biased, but it was a really good listen.
Yep.
I had a lot of good conversation with JH. I learned so much from that, and it's just crazy to hear what he had to deal with that he doesn't talk about as much. Like a lot of people, I feel like if they went through that with the EPA, they would never shut up about it and tell everybody. Mm-hmm. Like they would be like a fishing story. Like I would imagine if I went through that, I'd be like the guy in Jaws that was like, back in my day, I was fishing, and like I would constantly tell like an old fishing story and just not shut up about it. But he doesn't talk about it that much. And then I talked to Victor Alvarez, owner of Bradenton Motorsports Park Induction Performance and FL2K. We had an awesome conversation. We talked all about so many different things. That one was a little interesting.
People have been wanting Victor, I feel like, which is exciting.
He'll be back for sure because we had a good time. Mm-hmm. That one was a little interesting because we were about 45 minutes into the podcast talking, and he was like, "Is this the show?" He's like, "Is this it?" I'm like, "This is it, bud. We just talked. Like we're just hanging out." And yeah, I was like, I don't know what more you want.
I asked him questions.
I asked him his name, date of birth, social security number. No, but like it was just, I think he was a little caught off guard by it not being as interviewee. Yeah. But I had a great time, and I think all the questions that I wanted to ask and talk about came out. Okay. But yeah, so I got a few coming up, and then be planning for the next one. Whoever that is. I don't have anybody yet.
You got a good one out right now, and you got 2 good ones coming up.
Yes. Also,
which is awesome.
If there is people that you think I should have on, especially in the Florida area, if you're maybe I don't know about you, send me a message. If you got a decent, if you do some car stuff, like I may just not be aware of you, just send me a message. Yeah. I'm open to talk to people. Pitch to me, maybe, why you'd like to come on. I send a lot of invites out, but I don't know of everyone in the world. Yeah. So fire off a DM. Use a nude. Those help. Those get
really catch
those
Cooper's
grease
attention.
my gears.
Really catch Cooper's attention.
Exactly. But yeah, that's about it. Couple podcasts coming up. The one with Garrett was really fun. I think we already talked about that one though. But yeah, that's where we're at.
I think I'm good.
You think are you satisfied with that?
I think that was a good combo.
Cool. Well,
good little catch up.
We didn't even talk about our chickens, unfortunately. RIP, half the flock. But
do you want to talk about it quickly?
No, it's okay. We'll post a video on the Bogetti Bunch about it.
Okay.
So that'll do it, though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bronte, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That was a funny outro.
Love you guys.